Hey, what's going on, guys? MMA Professor. Gonna do UFC 111 review. Pretty amazing card, actually. I enjoyed a lot of the fights. Great fights on here. Let's go to the. Let's start with the Spike prelims. Ricardo Almeida against Matt Brown. Almeida looked a lot sharper at 170, even though I think his strategy going into the fight was to wear on Brown, push him up against the cage, and he did that. Brown was more worried about what Almeida was going to do than what he was going to do, and he initiated the clinch a lot. He took Brown down a lot, hit him with an elbow, cut him open, rear naked choke in the second round. It was pretty impressive by Almeida. Brown's a tough guy to finish, and that's sucks for Matt Brown, but it's a good win going into the 170 division. So the second fight, Nate Diaz against Rory Markham, and Rory Markham's probably going to get cut. Second loss in a row. One was at 2 TKOs, and he missed weight by 7 pounds. Well, 6 technically, because 171 is the limit for welterweight. Anyways, pretty much what I thought would happen. Diaz, just better. They're better at heavier weight classes because their style of fighting, their boxing is so good, and he heavier shots than he was landing. His boxing looked really good. Markham basically was trying to put him out with one shot. Diaz saw it coming, countered, good right hooks, shots to the body, dropped him. Huge right, took his back, huge right hands to the head, huge. And he TKOs Rory Markham in the first round. That's where Diaz needs to be, I think. I think the 155 cut is too much for him at this point. Okay, now, first fight we got to see on... Actually, let me talk about the Husmar Palhares Thomas Derval fight, because we got to see this twice. We saw it on the Spike prelims, and then we saw it again during the pay-per-view portion. Derval tried to throw a front kick, slipped, fell to his back. Palhares jumped on him, tried to throw a punch, sat back for a heel hook, and cranked on it. Derval tapped immediately. Palhares didn't let it go for 4 or 5 seconds afterwards. After he tapped, the ref's trying to yank his let go, and he wouldn't. And I made the comment to my friend Tony, and congratulations to him for coming up with this line. I said the second time we got to see it, the UFC showing this twice, most likely submission of the night. And his response was, yeah, probably should be fine of the night, because he should get fined by the athletic commission. And then he said, maybe he can use his sub of the night bonus to pay for his fine. Yeah, ridiculous. And that is ridiculous. I don't care how pumped up you are. Bullshit. Bullshit move by Palhares. Bullshit move. Do not like that at all. Messing with somebody's career right there. So anyways, what was the first fight we got to see on, Jim Miller, Mark Bocek. What an amazing fight this was. Holy crap. I didn't know Bocek would come and try to out-wrestle Miller, which he clearly, did. Awesome fight. Awesome grappling contest back and forth. Bocek trying to pass, Miller trying to keep half butterfly guard and, on his right side and, trying to sweep. I think Miller won the first round just, by landing the better strikes and then that Kimura attempt at the end. Second round was all Bocek. He had a sweet position when they were in a scramble, and Miller tried to underhook Bocek's right leg to drop for a single, and Bocek ended up taking his back, and in doing so, he body triangled him with Miller's right arm, caught in between. So he's got his back, Miller's back, with only Miller has one arm, And with that one arm, he's going back between defending the choke and punching him in that. That was amazing. Amazing positioning. Miller is near impossible to finish. Near impossible. That was insane. And then the third, I think Miller pulled it off by, I think he landed the better strikes in that round. And then in the scramble, took his back. And that's what won him the fight. But that was awesome. That was, I think that was definitely fight of the night. What else did we get? Kurt Pellegrino against Fabricio Camoes. Yeah. Camoes comes out aggressive. He had some great positions. It took almost had a standing rear naked choke. Pellegrino reversed it. Dropped him on his head, actually. And that hurt Camoes pretty badly. He was trying to time it, too. He was thinking about doing it, and he did that on purpose. And, from there, he just worked his superior wrestling game. Ended up taking his back and getting the rear naked choke. Like I said, Pellegrino's been hyping up his cardio. And, yeah, he looked amazing in this fight. Amazing. Let's talk about Frank Mir and Shane Carwin. Did I miss a fight? Okay. Mir, way too composed in there. Way too composed. And I'm getting a text message. Way too composed. He was so calm, and he just let Carwin muscle up against the cage, and he was just sitting there, like, talking to his corner, like, having a casual conversation. Until Carwin decided, screw this, I'm just going to start hitting him with punches. Hits him with a punch, couple uppercuts, drops Mir. Mir just holds onto his leg, eats some more shots, goes flat. Shitty job. I hate Dan Miragliotta. This whole freaking card, Dan Miragliotta, like, pandering to the crowd. Stand him up, stand him up, stand him up. So he stands him up. I think he stood up Fitch when Fitch was in Saunders half guard. That's the fight I forgot. But anyways, and then, like, stood him up, like, you gotta work, as he's pounding him against the cage. And then it's like, in this fight, how many shots did Mir take after he was out? How many? 5 shots. Mir's flat on the ground, on his stomach, out. And Carwin's like, are you serious? Are you serious? Miragliotta's a moron. Absolute moron. One of the worst refs in MMA. So anyways, I wasn't entirely wrong about this fight, because I did say that Mir's one weakness, and I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I've always liked Frank Mir as a fighter. I will continue to always like Frank Mir. I like Frank Mir's style. But I'm, truthful about it when I say he gets hit, and he doesn't do anything about it. He gets hit, and then his brain just locks up. You hit him with a good shot, and his brain just goes, yep, I'm out of here. And then his body is just comatose. So, impressive by Carwin. It was amazing when Lesnar got into the ring, how much bigger he was than Carwin. Holy shit. Lesnar is a monster. Really looking forward to that fight. I think that should be an amazing fight. That's 2 giant guys like that going at it. That's phenomenal. So Fitch Saunders, hey, wanted to pick the upset. I said, I'm going to pick the upset just to pick the upset, see what happens. John Fitch. That's what he does. John Fitch. Stand-up looked better, landed a couple right hands, some good leg kicks, took him down at will, and he was more active from the top than he usually is. Passed, and he was landing all sorts of... I want to see the fight metric, because I want to see how many punches he threw, because he threw a hell of a lot of punches on the ground. Punches and elbows. So, doesn't really move Fitch up anymore. Saunders is kind of still where he is. Couldn't do anything about it. George St. Pierre against Dan Hardy. I can't really say anything about the fight. I really can't. His wrestling is insane. Insanely good. And like I said, Hardy's, a lot of people are going to give, GSP shit, but, like, why would you, stay in... Your opponent's, like, supposedly this much better striker than you, but you're going to stay on the feet just to prove a point? Like, that's stupid. That's how you lose fights. and he took him down at will. He took him down at will. Dan Hardy did not stop one takedown. 100% takedown ratio for GSP. Passed his guard. And a lot of people, I'm not going to give shit to GSP for not finishing this fight because he nearly finished in the first. He nearly finished in the fourth. I don't know how Dan Hardy didn't tap, but his arm is going to be effed tomorrow. Seriously, effed. It's going to be crazy. You give him a grappler that doesn't have good striking, he'll probably stand with him. No, he'll probably still take him down, but he'll stand with him longer. Hardy only threw 5 punches the entire fight. GSP did catch him with a good left hook, right straight. And Hardy has a good chin. He just kind of smiled at him. Tomorrow I'm probably going to do Fight Night 21 predictions. So this is for you, guy who said it was corny. You definitely stay metal. And everybody else, stay metal as well. Later.